Hi friends, welcome back to my studio. I'm Katie. The last time you saw me, I was losing my mind about an A6 Kinbor planner. And thank you everyone for your kind words about the fact that I was not alone in my madness and the excellent advice to put my planners away until I wanted to bring them back out, which I did do, although only for a couple days because I'm back now. So this is going to be a video talking about the prototype for my B6 Slim cover and layout kinds of stuff. Not like the book, but like all the system. So we'll get into that. If you are the kind of person who is going to get like bummed out by the fact that I am going to be talking about things you cannot purchase because I made them myself, maybe skip this video because that's going to be a lot of what's going on. But if you would enjoy seeing what my little brain has come up with, then let's hang out. So I'm back to the B6 Slim. I never really thought I was going to leave the B6 Slim. I was just experiencing some tension. It only took a couple days for me to be like, the B6 Slim, the reasons I bought it all hold, that is still what I want. And so I had discussed that maybe it was time to make the B6 Slim into something I was excited to carry around because I was a little bored with the blue cover and I just like needed it to I needed the system to start going, and this is a thing I really enjoyed doing. So this is the Sterling Ink B6 Slim Horizontal Compact, and let me show you what I've got going on. This is a prototype. Everything is going to look a little rough, a little janky, but I want to make sure I've got all of my ducks in a row before I start sewing my nice leather. So let's start from the beginning. This is a failed thing. You'll see the real one in a minute. Well, I guess I could show it to you now. Here it is on my real leather. This was very challenging and we had a lot of failures and I nearly ruined my piece of leather, but we're good. So it didn't work so well on this faux leather. But here is the cover. This faux leather that I had kicking around is way floppier than the actual leather I'm using, so everything's a little squishy, which I don't love the way it feels. If this was really it, I'd be putting some support stuff. But this is actually fairly firm leather. In fact, I've skived it a little bit to make it a little bendier. It's also a pull-up leather, so if you're seeing that, that's just gonna be how it is. But here's my faux leather prototype. Nothing structurally very interesting on the outside, just the foiling. And then you open it, and this is a weird thing I did. It's been a weekend of weird crafts, okay? So I bought this, I don't know how to say this word. I don't know how to say it. Collaboration with Clyde. I bought this at Van Ness. It was only a couple bucks. It's B7 size, which I think of as being passport size, but it's a little smaller. This is something one actually can buy. Oh, kind of. I've messed with it. It is 5x3, so it's the same height as passport, but it's about a ½ an inch narrower. And it comes, this brand I think sells these all the time. The Clyde collaboration has these green covers and this tiny 2mm grid, which is smaller than I need it to be. I like to write it about a 4, but you know, 2 times 2 is 4, so I think that'll be fine. The weird bit is that these are not the rings that came on. It came on just your regular YRO binding, but I separately bought this Kikuyo soft rings, and I took some of the comb out. You can open them fairly easily, and I actually took some of the pages out too, and set those aside for future. And then you can glue this little comb bit back together. And hopefully I'll be able to do that more than once. We'll find out. But here we are. And so now it has these like squishy rings. because I thought that might be nice. It's here in the front of my planner and I'm like writing on it. I thought the squishy rings was nicer than the metal rings. If you wanted to do something similar, honestly, my best recommendation would be to just buy one of these Kikuyo soft rings, get the one with the grid because the lines will be in the wrong direction, and then just cut through the ring comb and here, and you'd have something pretty quickly that's involves fewer purchases and less weird stuff. So that's my recommendation. I haven't used the paper, but I expect it's fine. Lots of other people like it. So that's what I did here, and so I made a little slit in this front cover pocket. I think I'm going to make this a little bit wider so that there's more. I mean, the stiffer leather will also help, but I'm going to put that slit there, and that's here, and then this jots up and down, which I can't do with my left hand apparently, like this. And my thought for this is that this is, I think, where I'm going to hold reference information that lasts longer than a year, or might last longer than a year. And I got it as like roughly passport size so that I can take it out and put it in any system I decide to use in future years. I'm never going to go smaller than passport. So this could go in passport or A6 or B6 or B6 Slim, or, you know, I don't have to name all the sizes for you. Pockets. And so originally I was going to do that as an insert. You'll see more of that here. An insert but I've decided that my collections that are going to last longer than a year should be passport sized so that I can move them around and not be without them. So I'm toying with the idea of this being in this reporter one, but I've got options and I haven't written anything down yet. I took out some of the pages, but I've stored those, and I think I can refill it. And I think I don't expect, so I wanted something that I could in theory rearrange the pages in, but it's not even actually so much that I want to rearrange the pages. It's that when I finished a page, I want to be able to tear it out. And because like they're not like important collections. They're like what things to watch on Netflix when I'm not subscribed to Netflix, so that I remember the next time I'm subscribed, and to Hulu and all of these things, or, you know, my annual stationery budget or whatever. And so the problem with having them in my planner is I want them to be able to move from system to system, but if I finish the page, I'm cool with just tearing it out. And if I have an insert, I don't know, I guess I could cut it out or whatever. I don't know, I liked the idea of the rings, and I thought these might be more open and closable than they are, but they opened very easily just by hand, and I was able to glue them back together. So now it's just a matter of if glue. But if my Netflix page is full, I can just tear that out. I think they're actually maybe even perforated. So I've got all kinds of options. So I don't expect to rearrange the pages or add more pages very often, but I can do that in a way that I can't do it in an insert. So that's what I'm thinking. That's pretty new. This is a sticker from Sterling Ink, and it's just, we got a lot of green going on, but my real one is this violet, which I think this green is going to look beautiful on. And I was looking for a sticker for it, and when I found this Sterling Ink sticker that I had, it was just perfect. It's the right size, it's the right colors, it's just chef's kiss. Excellent. Okay, the only other thing I have in here, I did make the same gap on the other side, so I can decide if I want it in the front or in the back. Right now I'm leaning towards the front, but only a few minutes ago I was leaning towards the back, so I got options, and that doesn't make it any harder to sew. I can't really put pockets really, and this leather is too thick for me to really do like layers and layers of pockets, which is fine. So I've just got that slit, and then obviously there's the pocket here. So all of this is one unit right now, and it's on the strings. And this is my other weird invention. Iteration. Invention is overstating my credit. This was inspired, although I know people in the TN community were doing something along these lines from before this, but Phelps Designs sells these clear covers with like a pocket in the front and in the back in addition to on the inside, and so you can put multiple inserts in through the different pockets if you want to. I will link to Just Scribble's excellent video showing all the kind of variations that you can do on that. So as of filming, Lauren Phelps Designs doesn't have that in B6 Slim. She's got it in a bunch of other sizes. I know she's adding B6 Slim to some of her clear covers. I don't know if that's included or not, so you can keep your eyes open for that, although this is different. So I've put a perhaps excessive amount of pockets, but I don't know how many inserts I want or how I want them laid out, and so this gives me a ton of options. So right now I just have the sterling ink freebie in here, which I wish I'd gotten a different design. There's some really gorgeous ones. This one's pretty too. It's not really my vibe, but it was handy and the right size, so I stuck it in here. And because the clear plastic looks a little icky when there's nothing else happening. So on the front is, and the back, well, we'll get to the back. On the front, I have this pocket, but it's not sewn into the edge, so it's open on both sides. And you can slide things in and out. We'll talk about why that is here in a second, but I could put an insert in here from either direction if I wanted to. It's the same on the inside here. Again, another one that's open on both sides. In the back, it's the same. There's one here in this cover. And here's why I have it open on both sides. Because if it was just open like a regular pocket, I'd put my insert in like this and it would open, you know, like that, which is fine. But by inserting the front cover, although this tester insert doesn't have a very good front cover, so I'm going to do a couple pages. By sliding that in here, this way, the opposite direction, that means it opens like this, and it means that, say I'm working on this page, I can actually have this open like this if I want to. Or maybe I don't need this page, but I just want this one. And this I think is going to be for scratch notes. And so like just essentially trash, but you know, things I need to write down. I'm constantly doing like little random math kinds of stuff. And so I think having it come out the side like this is perfect for that kind of thing. And then I have the same thing in the back, but it's a little bit different. So it's again a dually accessible pocket, but I've put a seam here in the middle that makes it passport sized. And it's not like sliding up and down, it keeps it in there a little more steadily. And so that means that if I have things I want to keep in passport so I can move from system to system, they're nicely contained here without, you know, if I would just put it on a string, it would be going up and down and it wouldn't be held taut. And again, I have this currently inserted so that if I'm working here, I can actually open it like this. The back cover is like kind of bending, but I don't think that's a problem. And so I can do that. So that's this system. And then I did add pen loops because putting pen loops in my thicker leather was going to be really hard for me in my sewing machine. It was going to be very hard to make it neat. So I decided to just do them in the clear cover. That's like the Hobonichi has them, and it seems like it should be fine. So here's my current planner pen, which you might see in a future video. This is the Enso Bolt. Here is my highlighter, which is a Pilot Parallel that I've put into a Pilot sign pen. All of this stuff is weird. I warned you at the beginning. And so those all slide in here, and then I usually keep a pencil, but this thing is so narrow that I often just slide it on a string. None of my strings are, oh, that's not true, are currently accessible to me. Often what I do is put it on a string like this, and then it's just in there, and it's so thin that it like barely matters. I think I'd want one of my strings to be a little bit more, there we go, accessible, like that. I put it in there like that, and I don't use the pencil a ton, but there are times you want to have a pencil. Now this is flopping around. I have to decide what I think about all of that or how to do anything. Obviously this is very floppy. I'm tempted. I don't know. We'll see. This is why we do the prototype. We like play with it and we see what happens. And then there's back pocket here again with this lid, but there's nothing else in there right now. And I'm thinking of doing just a regular kind of TN closure with the elastic that goes around. And I like the ones that have the leather like enforcement bands that'll keep my pens nice and tight too. So I did just double check to make sure that this fits nicely in my purse, which it does. It's not really smaller, all things considered, than B6, all said and done. But of course, if I had done B6, so I didn't pick B6 because I thought it was going to be too big. And obviously it's the same size, but then once you add, if I had been making a cover and stuff for this, obviously that would have gotten wider. So I think that's fine. And in the horizontal layout, I don't need the extra width that a B6 full size would give me as opposed to the slim. So that's my currently fairly janky looking planner cover, but I'm really excited about how it's coming together. I wish this prototype was less floppy. I'd have a better sense of things, but it feels good in the hand. I like the size. I like all the functionality. I feel like if I make this now here 3 months before it's time to use it, I've given myself plenty of flexibility to change how I want it. I can also slide the cover. I mean, I'd have to take some of the stuff out, but into here and use it as a folio if I decided I wanted to do that. I just feel like I have a lot of options, that I'm not hemmed into anything. But who knows? I'm a person full of ideas, so that's why I'm holding off doing my actual leather cover. I'd like to wait a couple of weeks to do that, just to keep playing with this a little bit, and also just to kind of spread out the fun, keep the excitement going, that kind of thing. Oh, I just found this sticker. This would look beautiful with this stuff. We'll have to see if there's a use for that somewhere. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this delve into the weirdness that is my brain, and I hope you're excited about your lineup and the options that you've got. Thanks for hanging out with me, and we can talk again soon. Bye, friends.